Okay, we're on page 219, and we're at the end of chapter 4. We're in different areas of life where we should have bitachon, and now we're on the more spiritual areas of life where we should have trust in Hashem. So 219, Aval Perish Hachelak Hashvi, the seventh area where we should have bitachon, Vehu Bechesed Elokim Al Bechirav Usguloso Ba'olam Haba B'Rovatova Sashaluchon L'Safron. We should have faith in Hashem. We should trust God that to His treasured nation, His chosen nation, the Jewish people, that there will be a place called Olam Haba, where there will be goodness that we can't even describe, immeasurable goodness. Right? The Mishnah says that all of the Jewish people, just from the starting point, out of Hashem's kindness, all of the Jewish people have a place in the world to come in Olam Haba. You got to do some really bad stuff to get out of Olam Haba. A person could be a sinner, still gets Olam Haba. You have to be like a heretic or like really bad stuff to not be in Olam Haba. But every Jewish person is guaranteed a place in Olam Haba where we can't measure the goodness and the reward. We've said before, just to give ourselves somewhat of an idea what Olam Haba is like, which we really don't have. I mean, Shabbos is like Olam Haba, but it says if you would take all of the pleasure you ever had in your life and you add that to all the pleasure any human being ever had that exists, all 7 billion people, and you add that to the pleasure that any human being who ever lived had during his life in the history of the world, that doesn't even equal one moment of the pleasure of Olam Haba. The proper way to be bitachon in this area, so since we trust that Hashem is going to give us Olam Haba, a person should use his life to employ those means which will get him to Olam Haba, to like the level of the righteous and holy pious people. A person, let's read this first, and then I want to give an introduction after we read it. A person should act in the way of the people that are porish. They separate themselves from Olam Haza, from this world. You should remove any love you have for anything in this world and replace it with love of Hashem. Now, how do you something we've mentioned before, how do you love Hashem? Right? Love Hashem right now. We're commanded to love Hashem. So, okay, do it now. Love Hashem. You can't commend a feeling. The way you do it is developing it. One of the ways to do it is, besides learning Torah, one of the ways to do it is to contemplate nature, to think about Hashem's creations. We just started in school learning about an atom, to think how many atoms are in a little like 8 trillion atoms in a little thing of sand or something like that. 80 trillion, I probably have the number wrong. But you think about the complexity and the beauty of Hashem's nature and all that He's done from us, that when you contemplate that, the thought, the deep thought, and that idea will eventually produce the emotion of love. So it takes time. He should be given over to Hashem. He should delight in thinking about Hashem and detach himself from matters of this world and the people who live there. You should act like the prophets and the pious people. That his heart should trust in God. That Hashem will deal with goodness to him in Olam Haba just like He dealt with the prophets and other people. So now he's saying the goal is, right, we should. The introduction I wanted to give is that if we're not on this level where we're totally disgusted with this world, Olam Haza, and we're like, you want me to eat dinner? I don't want to eat dinner. I want to just learn Torah and say Tehillim. If you don't have that, I don't have that visceral reaction right now. Like, I'm very excited for breakfast right now. So I'm not on the level that the Shaar Habitachon is describing. So I have two options. One is I can feel very depressed that I'm not on this level and I'm looking forward to breakfast. Or I could recognize that this is a lifetime of work, and little by little I want to move myself in the direction towards spirituality and away from physicality. That maybe by the time I'm 75 years old, I really won't be looking forward to breakfast so much, and I'm more looking forward to learning Torah and saying Tehillim. But the idea is that we have we have a choice of where we want the center of our being to be. Do we want it to be in the physicality, or do we want it to be in the spiritual? And what I've noticed for me is that instead of like putting down the physical, the more you focus on the spiritual, it happens automatically. Like the more you see like the beauty and the realness of learning Torah, davening, connecting to Hashem, then it's not, other things become unimportant. It's not like you have to say like, your breakfast is horrible, or having a big house, that's stupid. I'm such a Russia that I want a big house. No, I don't think that works so much. But the more you focus on Hashem, you're like, wow, this is so rich and this is so important. This is where the real stuff is at. I have a big house. I don't have a big house. Who cares? It's like irrelevant. Just like I look back and playing with Legos. When I was 6, it was like a lot of fun, and now it's like, okay, maybe with my nephew it's a little bit of fun, but like it's not something that I enjoy doing as much as I do, because you grow up, you become more mature. So our goal in life is to become more mature in the sense that we recognize the only thing which is real, that lasts forever, is spirituality, is our connection to Hashem. Everything else in this world, it's not going to be here forever. So there, by definition, it's ephemeral. It's not something we should be spending our time with. But that happens automatically. I don't know how much. I'm just saying focus on the positive and not the negative. But he's saying that, right, we should put our whole lives into focusing on that. Why? Because we have bitachon, that that's the right thing to do, and Hashem is going to reward us. Not only is Hashem going to reward us, but that's the real life in this world. To live a happy life in this world, I think it's pretty clear. You guys are older than me. Maybe you can tell me if you disagree, that the only true happiness is living for something greater than yourself, is living for the spiritual. You get a big house or a Corvette, you're excited for a couple weeks, but then it just becomes your car, it becomes your house. You need something else. It doesn't. But spirituality, that's something that's lasting, and with a deep connection and a deep happiness. But the point is that we have to try, we have to make an effort to live that life. We can't just say, I'm going to do whatever I want, and Hashem is going to give me olam haba. Someone who thinks he's going to get olam haba without doing anything, he's the fool and the moron. It's like the people it's like what they say about those people. There are certain people that do like Zimri. Zimri was the head of the tribe, and he publicly had relations with a non-Jewish woman, which he wasn't supposed to do, and Pinchas speared him to stop the plague for the bad things that were happening. So the Gemara says there are some people that do the wrong thing, like Zimri, and they think that they're tzaddikim like Pinchas. These horrible things, and they say, "Oh, why is God doing this to me? Why didn't Hashem reward me? I'm like Pinchas." Like, no, you're like Zimri. We have to. That's why we need to have a friend and a rabbi, because it's very, very hard to know our own faults. It's like almost impossible to know our own faults. So you need a friend or a rabbi to wake you up once in a while, be like, "Hey, I think you need to work on this." The signs of these elevated people, these are people. How do you know if you're one of these people? A person who has patience during times of tribulation or pain, right? Everyone in his life has challenges. Someone just told me, a big rabbi just told me, there's one place in this world where there's no challenges and you don't want to be there, right? 6 feet under. Right? Every other part of life has challenges. So the simon, the way you can tell one of these people is that someone, when he's experiencing his challenges and his pain, he has patience. He says, Hashem is giving me this situation now. It's very difficult, but it's so I can grow. I can become a better person. We don't grow unless we have challenges. And everything else is like inconsequential to fulfilling mitzvahs. Right? The only thing that matters to this person is mitzvahs. Everything else is like irrelevant. Money, house, car, whatever. Serving Hashem is most important. Yeah, I need a car so I can get to yeshiva. I don't care, as long as it works. Right? Like it says, Avram, Hashem tested Avram. Right? Avram was ready to give up his son, his most beloved thing in the world. For Hashem, everything else was batal, was just inconsequential in front of the will of Hashem. Now again, we shouldn't feel bad if we're not ready to give up our firstborn. We shouldn't feel bad, but we should know that the goal is that everything should be inconsequential in front of the will of Hashem, and we should be heading towards that direction. The Inyan Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, they jumped into a fire in order to serve Hashem, in order not to desecrate Hashem's commandments. Daniel went into the lion's den. And the 10 martyrs who gave their life because of their service of Hashem, Rabbi Kiva and the others. Someone who, now he's going to say, someone who dies because of serving Hashem, right? Someone who dies al kiddush Hashem, min hachayim v'hamraso, v'herish min ha'oisher, v'choli min habrios, v'atzar min hashalva, v'nimster l'din habore v'tzar, because there is of roihu l'chesed habore olav b'noam ha'olam haba. Someone who chooses difficulty, right? The ultimate is to sacrifice one's life to serve Hashem. Someone says, bow down to this idol, or I'll kill you. So, a person like that, but not even a person who gives his life. Someone who chooses, it's difficult for me not to work on Shabbos. It's difficult for me to do mitzvah ABC. I have to give up things of my comforts, and it's very difficult for me. It's I have to make so much more money because I have to pay tuition to yeshivas, and this is crazy. I could just send my kids to the public school. So many challenges in life, but somebody who chooses the difficult path to connect to Hashem, he'll experience an exceptional sweetness of Olam Haba in the next world. That the Torah says, I have what to bequeath to those who love me, and I shall fear their storehouses. I shall fill their storehouses. No, we're not fearing storehouses. The Amr says, the eye hasn't seen what Hashem does to those that desire Him. It says, what goodness that you have hidden for those that fear you. So we learned. So that finishes chapter 4. We learned 7 areas where we have to trust in Hashem, and this way is that Hashem is going to give Olam Haba to those that fear Him and those that try to make the center of their life connection to Him and spirituality and not the physical.